Hello, beautiful friend. It's nice to see you today. Thanks for joining me as we explore the energy of mutable signs. Mutable signs are Gemini, Pisces, Virgo, and Sagittarius. Let's open the chapters of your past. This is going to have a lot to do with your inner child and how you communicate with your inner child and how you see your inner child. Not just your inner child, but also your comfort zone, which is the South Node. South Node is about where you came from, it's about what you have to move away from. And this is a generational planet, so it's important to look at what house is in because that's the theme that it's gonna represent in your life and the degrees with the aspects that it's doing to the other planets in your chart. So your comfort zone here is something that's not helping your inner child. And with Leo being here, which is the whole sign ruler of the fifth house, this has a lot to do with your inner child. And because the South Node is also here, I feel that the comfort zone that you're in right now, it's keeping you stuck in certain patterns that it's not allowing you to enjoy life to its full potential. You might feel like you're stuck or like you're done growing or you're not able to grow or like you're just in this like bad luck phase of your life, but it's not that. It's all of the pain from the past that you haven't let go of. It's sort of like a loop and it's like coming back around. And so how you were talked to when you were a child is how you're talking to yourself now. So those emotions you felt when you were little, when you were scared, when you didn't feel loved, when you probably like a lot of this has to do with not having enough food to eat. As an adult, you could have resentment towards those memories in your past, and that resentment is coming out in other areas of your life towards yourself. That could look like as pushing yourself to be successful in a career that you don't like because you want to make sure that you have enough money to feed yourself, but the money feels like it's never enough. This could also look like as you keeping yourself in a loop or keeping yourself in a comfort zone of not applying for a better job or not going to school or after a certificate program, and you make excuses of to why, but the reality is that you don't feel you deserve more or you don't feel you deserve better. And this could come from something generational with the South Node being here, of your parents didn't go to school and they turned out fine, or people around you didn't go to school, so you don't have that example of pushing yourself to want more. And a lot of that has to do with who you surround with. There's a saying in Spanish that says, dime con quién te juntas y te digo quién eres. Tell me who you hang around with and I'll tell you who you are. And that's a lot of this energy, this fifth house, this South Node energy. And that's how it's coming up right now, as you need to examine who you're keeping in your life, and you need to examine the routines, the goals, and the habits you have, because all of that is not aligning to the goals that you have or who you're meant to become, like as your higher self. And a lot of that is not supporting your inner child. It's actually keeping you in a loop cycle of where you're replaying emotions, and these are more like negative, toxic emotions that you had when you were little. And a lot of it is just blinding you to not be able to see like the patterns that you've created. So a lot of that could keep you from taking accountability for your actions. And that could look like as you're having a conversation with a friend and they start talking about how your cat, like you didn't go buy enough food for your cat, so your cat doesn't have enough food. And then they bring up the conversation of how, oh yeah, my mom never got me enough food for my cat, or a problem that they had when they were a child that reminded them of something that you brought up. That in a way is sort of trauma dumping, and you're sort of doing that in your relationships, and it's sort of like it's bringing up the emotion you felt at that moment. You're reliving the experience again and again. Every time you think about it, every time you talk about it, your body and your brain are going back to that moment. And at some point, you need to realize or see within yourself how that's affecting how you love yourself because of how you're mistreating yourself, how you're mistreating your inner child because you're making it relive those same moments over and over again. And this is something that could become overwhelming. And this could be something that you do to yourself internally, even with the like experiences that you've had at work or as an adult with friends or like with your partner or with roommates and stuff. So really letting go of that pattern is something that could really help you. You are mutable signs, so you're gonna have Uranus that's gonna be going into Gemini. So this is gonna be something huge, and it could bring you a lot of good luck. But what's holding you back from that is your South Node energy of where you've been. If you were born around the 80s, you would have your South Node in Libra, and that's a lot of people pleasing. So how are you putting others before you? It's the axis of you versus me. It's the putting others first. It's also the axis of um, not respecting your own boundaries and attracting people that force their boundaries onto you. And a lot of that could feel like you've been in relationships or in friendships where they're forcing their way of life onto you. But a lot of that has to do with the red flags that you're ignoring and you're not admitting to seeing and you're okay with because of how that feels like home. A lot of your relationships and friendships and bad situations that you've been in have some similarity feeling to what has happened in the past. And so it's like you're unconsciously looking for that moment or to relive that experience or that feeling again. Please let me know how this reading resonated with you in the comments.